Are you looking for a text-to-speech application? Pacta Learning invites you to discover a new AI tool, ButterReader. Input the text you wish to convert to audio and simply paste the embed code within your website. If you love it and would like to add it to your blog, then add the code. Now, let's listen to a virtual podcast about this product, generated by AI. Discover the Pacta Learning courses. ButterReader redefines your reading process, offering a seamless transition from text to audio. Enhance engagement, monitor progress, and celebrate the richness of accessible content. Experience the revolution in reading with ButterReader. The AI courses from Pacta Learning are in French, but you can follow them with any automatic translation solution.
So you want people to actually, read your blog or listen to it, I guess I should say.
Yep.
It's tough out there. Everyone's fighting for attention. And most of us are already staring at screens way too much anyway, right?
Yeah.
But what if there was a way to reach people, even when they're on the go?
What?
That's what this whole deep dive into ButterReader is all about. It's supposed to make your blog, instantly digestible, even if someone's, walking the dog or something.
Right.
And they've got this whole thing about appealing to both, the blogger and the reader. But before we get ahead of ourselves,
Sure.
What is ButterReader like in a nutshell?
So basically, it's this audio widget.
Okay.
You embed it right into your blog posts, and people can listen instead of read.
Oh, so instead of just seeing a wall of text, there's like a play button.
Exactly.
And they can listen to my soothing voice narrate the whole thing.
Yeah. And you can actually choose from different voices. It's not just one robotic sound.
Oh, that's smart. You don't want some, super perky voice reading a blog post about, the history of philosophy or something.
Exactly. It's all about, matching the tone.
Right. So it's not just about the sound. It's about actually reaching people.
Are you looking for a text-to-speech application? Pacta Learning invites you to discover a new AI tool, ButterReader.
Right? And that's where those ButterReader stats come in. They say 79% of content is consumed on the go now.
Wow.
4 hours of audio per day on average.
That's a lot.
I know, right? And get this. They claim blogs using their widget see an 88% increase in engagement.
Okay.
Those are some pretty bold claims. Do those numbers check out?
Well, obviously, ButterReader's going to highlight the good stuff, right?
Yeah.
But honestly,
Yeah.
those stats do line up with what we're seeing. Podcasts are huge. Audiobooks are huge. People are busy.
It's true.
They want to multitask.
Yeah.
Audio lets them listen while they're doing other things.
Just sneaking in a little learning while you're waiting in line at the grocery store. I do it all the time with podcasts.
Exactly. And that's what ButterReader's going for. They even have this playing away feature so you can keep listening even if you switch to a different app.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, seamless integration. That's the key.
So it's not just about slapping on an audio player and hoping for the best, huh? There's a real strategy to it. And speaking of strategy, what about SEO?
Right.
They've got that leaderboard thing, and from what I understand, it's supposed to help your blog get seen, right?
Yeah, and it ties into this bigger thing with search engines.
Okay.
They're evolving. They're realizing that people consume content in different ways now, not just text.
Mm-hmm.
So while ButterReader might have their own, tricks, the point is audio matters for search now.
So it's not just about sounding good, it's about being heard, too.
That's
It's you could write the most amazing blog post about, say, I don't know, the history of coffee, but if
Right.
it's buried in the search results, no one will ever see it.
Exactly. ButterReader says their platform can boost your SEO so your blog actually shows up higher.
Okay, so that makes sense, but is that unique to ButterReader? Or are we seeing, a fundamental shift? Is Google just, really into audio now?
That's a great question, and one we'll dig into right after this quick break.
Are you looking for a text-to-speech application? Pacta Learning invites you to discover a new AI tool, ButterReader.
It's like search engines are getting wise,
Yeah.
They're realizing people don't always want to read a ton of text.
Right.
And they're starting to prioritize, different formats, audio being one of them.
Okay, so that makes sense, but here's the thing.
Yeah.
Let's say you've got this, terribly written blog post, right? Just awful.
Okay.
But then you add some fancy voiceover. Is that really going to make it rank higher?
Well, no, not at all. Content is still king, always. Audio just adds another layer, another way to, reach people.
Yeah. It's like you wouldn't serve a gourmet meal on a paper plate.
Exactly. Presentation matters, but the substance has to be there.
So it's about finding that balance.
Right.
Where the audio actually enhances good content.
Exactly. And ButterReader, to their credit, seems to get that. They even have this whole article, The Future of Blogging, Audio Changing the Game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like they're acknowledging this shift.
Okay, so they're all in on audio.
Hmm.
But how big of a deal do you think this is? Are we all going to be just listening to blogs in 5 years? No more reading.
It's tough to say. It's like when ebooks came out, everyone thought physical books were doomed.
Right, right.
But people still love physical books. The feel of the paper, the smell.
Oh, I know. There's something about it.
Exactly. So will audio change things? Sure. Will it completely replace reading? I'm not so sure.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You'll probably see a mix,
Like a hybrid approach.
Right. Creators will adapt, find what works.
Because ultimately it's about giving people options, right?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And that brings up another point, the quality of the audio itself.
Oh, right. Because a boring robotic voice isn't going to cut it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Imagine listening to a blog post about, like, baking bread, and the voice sounds like a robot.
It'd be awful. You need that warmth, that personality.
Right. That's something to keep in mind with any text-to-speech thing. The voice has to fit.
So it's all about that cohesive experience we talked about earlier.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've covered a lot. Audio content, ButterReader,
Yeah.
SEO.
Hmm.
But let's bring it back to our listener for a second.
Sure.
The person thinking, okay, this is all interesting, but what do I do with this information?
Right.
What would you tell them?
Don't overthink it. It's not like this whole new world you have to master. Audio is just like another tool. Think of your blog post as like a 3-course meal.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
So the written blog post, that's your main course.
No.
The heart of it all, right?
Right.
Audio, think of it like an appetizer.
Yeah.
Something to get people interested, draw them in, like maybe a short audio clip teasing the topic.
Okay, I like it.
And then for dessert, something extra, like a companion podcast episode, diving deeper into one specific part of the blog post's theme.
Oh, wow, you're making me hungry with this analogy, but I love it. Different ways to experience the content, right?
Exactly. It gives people options. Maybe they start by listening to a short audio version on their commute, then they're hooked, and they come back to read the whole thing later.
It's all about adapting, isn't it? Trying new things.
Always. And remember, it all goes back to your audience.
Yeah.
Know who you're talking to, right? What are they into? How do they consume content? Audio might be the perfect fit for them. Or maybe it's just one piece of the puzzle.
Right. It's not about following a trend just because. It's about, does this actually work for my audience?
Exactly. And no matter what, the same rules apply. Good content is good content. Audio or text, it's got to be engaging. It's got to provide value.
So it sounds like the future of blogging isn't really about like this big battle between text and audio. It's more like finding that balance, giving your audience the choice. Read it on the screen if you want, listen on the go, whatever works for you.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
So to wrap things up for our listeners, think about how you can use the power of audio to make your content even better, to connect with your audience in new ways. Until next time.
Are you looking for a text-to-speech application? Pacta Learning invites you to discover a new AI tool, ButterReader.